is white, nature is strong, nature is beauty, nature is moody, nature is white, nature is blue, nature is green, nature is true, nature is you, nature is me, nature will forever be free. Nature is white, nature is strong, nature is beauty, nature is moody, nature is white, nature is blue, nature is green, nature is true, nature is you, nature is me, nature will forever be free.
Okay, here we saw these two video clips. In the past, we began this poem, I Wander Lonely as a Cloud. We somehow discussed about the writer, William Wordsworth. I told about the writer who was very much nature lover poet. He wrote a lot of poems related to nature. And this poem is also about nature. And Wordsworth finds himself like in the lap of mother when he is in nature. That we discussed at that time. And after that, and I also discussed with the word meanings, synonyms and antonyms. At that time, some of the words which are highlighted in the poem, I try to explain the meaning in my previous class. For example, float, drifts, beneath, below or under, like that, we discussed in the past. And then we also discussed some of the words related to antonyms. Antonyms are also necessary to know, because sometimes we know the meaning of the poem by their opposite meanings. For example, the meaning of day is very much clearly known by knowing the meaning of night. When we know dark, we know brightness also. I told at that time. Today, let me go to this poem, I Wander Lonely as a Cloud. Let me explain it first, and then we'll go to comprehension questions. I wander lonely as a cloud. I recited at that time. Now let me explain stanza wise. I wander lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, floating and dancing in the breeze. This is the first stanza of the poem. I wander lonely as a cloud. Now, first of all, let's not be in tension when reading the poem. It is for joy, it is for pleasure we read the poems. Don't afraid of exam, don't afraid of anything else. Please read the poem very carefully and enjoy the poem. Poems are for joy. Poems are for pleasure. Any other people outside read the poem for their pleasure. Now, we also have to learn to read the poem for our happiness. So here, when we look at the first line, I wander lonely as a cloud, what we see? The poet himself or the speaker, I is speaking. Here, I is the speaker. First of all, we have to understand from the very beginning how the poet develops, what is called poem develops, goes ahead. For example, someone is speaking here, that person is I. We can regard I as a poet or the speaker. I wander, it is in simple past tense. Lonely as a cloud, lonely alone. As a cloud, as is the word of comparison. The poet is comparing himself as a cloud. I wander lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills. Over, it is the short form O-E-R, it is O-B-E-R, over. Vales, valley, hills, we know what hills are. Okay, clouds that floats over high hills and what is called the valleys and the hills. Like that, with that cloud, the poet is comparing himself, or this I, is comparing with the cloud. Speaker is comparing with the cloud. When all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. When he was moving, wandering like a cloud, at that time he happened to see a crowd of daffodils. golden daffodils, just before we saw in the picture. Very yellow, color daffodils, very large garden was there. We saw that, garden. A host of golden daffodils the poet saw when he was just wandering alone, lonely as a cloud, like a cloud. Like the cloud moves in the sky, the poet was also in a way aimlessly wandering, on the way. At the time he saw a host of golden daffodils. The daffodils were, what was the location? Here he is explaining in the last two lines. Beside the lake, beneath the trees. Beside the lake, beneath the trees. At the side of the lake, there was a lake. At the side of the lake, there was a, host of golden daffodils. Beneath the trees, there were trees as well. Under the trees, beside the lake, he saw the flowers, daffodils. Fluttering and dancing in the breeze, the daffodils, the condition of the daffodils were dancing, fluttering, the movement of flowers. In the breeze, breeze is the wind, breeze is the air. So in the gentle, wind, with the gentle wind, with the, wind, the poet saw the daffodils dancing and fluttering. Fluttering is like, just tossing, doing up and down. When we caught our hen or cock and leave it on the ground, it flutters. That kind of movement is known as fluttering. And dancing, the flowers were dancing on the garden. Beside the lake, beneath the tree, the flowers were dancing. This dancing word we have to regard, when flowers dance at the time, we feel a little awkward. Here the poet is giving the quality of the what is called human being to flower. Quality of human being to flower. So, he is in a way personifying the flower. मानविकीकरण, फूललाई पनि मानवीय खालको व्यवहार पोएटले गरेको छन्। यस्तो खालको कुराहरू कवितामा हामी प्रशस्त पाउँछौँ। Here he is comparing with the cloud, himself with the cloud, and here flowers are dancing, fluttering. These are the quality of animate things, not inanimate things. Here, the dancing is the quality of human being. He gives this quality to flower. Now let me go to second stanza. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. They stretch in never-ending line along the margin of a way. 10,000 I saw at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. It is the second stanza. Here, the poet is continuously describing the flowers, daffodils, as he saw, as he was influenced, as he is very much enchanted, as he is becoming very much impressed by the flowers. He says the flowers were continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. Now again the poet is comparing flowers with the Milky Way group of stars. Continuous as the stars that shine. Like stars, the flowers were shining. They were very much bright and twinkling on the Milky Way. They were also like the light of the stars, the flowers were giving the light. They stretch in never-ending line along the margin of a way. Along the margin of a way, 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. So here he is explaining the flowers. Now again he is explaining the flowers. The stretched means extended in never-ending line. The line was so long. Along the margin of a way, at the bank of the lake. They were at the margin, means at the bank of the bay there were flowers. 10,000 saw I at a glance. The poet saw large number of flowers at a time. 10,000 he saw at a glance, in a quick look, he saw many flowers at a time. What were the flowers doing when he saw? They were tossing their heads in sprightly dance. Again, flowers are personified. He is giving the quality of human being. The flowers are dancing, when generally we don't say the flowers are dancing. Flowers are just moving. Phulharu हल्लिरहेका छन्, we like to say. But here the poet is telling that phulharu नाचिरहेका छन्. It means, he is giving the quality of human being. Again here, the flowers are attributed the quality of human being. This is how, the poet is explaining the flowers. At first he compared cloud with himself. In the second stanza in the first line, he compares, these flowers with the stars. The quality of stars is brought to flower. Flowers are shining like stars. He just does like that, and he again says that the flowers are dancing, sprightly, lively, energetically, the flowers dancing. He says, in the third stanza, the waves beside them dance. The waves beside them dance, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. It is the third stanza. Again, he is talking about the flowers, daffodils again. The waves beside the lake, beside them dance. Beside them means flowers. Now, the wave on the lake was also dancing there. But the poet says that the dancing of the water, the dancing of the wave is, less superior. Or the dancing of the daffodils is far more better, far more superior than the waves in the lake. So, what he says, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee, in happiness, the flowers won the, what is called the waves dancing. Waves dancing on the one side and flower dancing on the other side. But the flowers won according to poet. They were far more happier. Okay, they were happy. So, he says that flowers won the waves dancing. The poet could not but be gay. What could the poet do? By looking such a beautiful scenery, he could be happy. Now, the poet could not but be gay. Gay is happy. He could be happy in such a jocund company. Jocund is happy company. He got the friends. These flowers are like his friends. When he got these flowers as his friends, he became very happy. He could not do anything else, but he could be happy. And then he says, the poet says, I gazed and gazed. He looked at the flowers very, continuously. He looked at, he stared and he stared at the flowers. He did not think more. And when he saw the flowers, continuously, what he found himself very rich. He found himself very, wealthy person. What wealth the soul to me had brought, He thought that, he was so happy, that kind of happiness, that kind of richness, nothing could brought to him. Some people run after money for their happiness. But this poet is, happy by looking the scenery, by looking the nature, by looking the flowers. This is in the third stanza. Now, the fourth stanza, the last stanza of the poem, in the past also I told somehow, it is about the poet's poetic creation. What he says, for oft when on my couch I lie in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. Here, in the fourth stanza, the poet is talking about what happens to him or to certain person, when they have very impressive, memory. For example, he saw daffodils flowers. He saw the garden of daffodils. And then now, when he goes to his house, he sits very comfortably on his couch. And then, what he does, he remembers, he recalls the memory of the flower, of that daffodils. And then suddenly what happens, all the garden, very freshly, lively comes to his mind. And then, when on my couch I lie in vacant or in pensive mood, thoughtful mood. He has no other problems. He has thoughtful mood about that flower, and then they flash in his inward eye. In his inner eye, the flowers dance. The flowers in the scenery of the flowers so freshly, very lively comes to his mind, and then he becomes very happy. He says that it is the bliss of solitude when he is alone. When he is in the very much tranquil condition, peaceful condition at that time, it becomes like a bliss for him, so that he can write about them, he can make a poem about daffodils. He says, this last stanza is about poetic creation of William Wordsworth. I told, he says, poetry is the spontaneous overflow of powerful feeling recollected in tranquility. Now, tranquility is the peaceful mind of the poet. Now, it is recollected in his mind. He is remembering, he is recalling the memory, and then now at last what happens? And then my heart with pleasure fills. His heart is very happy. and dances with the daffodils, perhaps he can write the poem very spontaneously now. His heart dances with the daffodils. Okay, the poem can be interpreted in a different way. We can talk about rhymes. We can talk about different kind of simile, metaphor, but it is lower level. We can't. We do not go there. Simply we read the poem and we enjoy, and somehow we understand it, and we answer the simple questions given after the poem. Now, after this, let me go to another slide. Yeah, in the past I showed this. This exercise you can do. If you are in front of TV screen. Sometimes you can take a snap of it, or if you have a smartphone with you, you can have a screenshot. You please try to do this type of exercise. Are found in your textbook also, in your practice books also. You can just see, you can find out and do them. And this also for antonyms. I have made the exercise here. You can, if you can, you preserve it. If you cannot, you please look at your books and try to find out, not only of this poem, but of other poems also which are there in your book. There are 5 poems altogether. You can read them out like this, very joyfully. Poems are very pleasing to read. So please, look at these exercises and try to do. If possible, you copy from here. If not, then you can find in the book, in the textbook, or in the practice book. Now let me go to question answer. How to solve the question answer? Sometimes we feel it difficult, but we should not afraid, because I have given you the idea of making sentences also. For example, which tense the question is asked. In which tense the question is asked, in the same tense we have to answer the question. And we should not afraid of it. Look at the question very carefully and go to the poem and look at, try to find out where the answer lies. For example, if you look at here in this text, you can find the answer so easily. The first question is, who compared with the cloud? Who is compared with the cloud? Very easily, look at the first line. I wander lonely as a cloud. At the beginning I told, the poet or the speaker is compared himself with a cloud. As a cloud means, he is comparing with a cloud. Who is compared with the cloud? The question, is like this, and the answer is in the first line. I wander lonely as a cloud. Now, who is compared? Now, who, answer of who you have to write? The speaker or the poet is compared with a cloud, full stop. Now, our answer is all right. No one will cut our answer. They will be impressed by our answer. In the same way, question number 2. Where did the person in the poem see the daffodils? Where? Now, when there is where, we have to find out the place. If you look at the first, second, third, fourth, fifth line of the poem, what is written there? Beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluting and dancing in the breeze. The poet saw the daffodils beside the lake, beneath the trees. Where did the person in the poem see the daffodils? Now, the question is in the simple past. Where did the person? Now, the person in the poem saw the daffodils where? Beside the lake, beneath the trees. Beside the lake and beneath the trees. Full stop, you can just write. It's quite very easy to answer the questions. We should not be afraid of answering the question. We have to develop this skill. If the question is in the past, for example, we are using V2. The person in the poem saw the daffodils. Where? Beside the lake, beneath the trees. Very easy. Now, third question in the same way. Number C. What does the poet compare the daffodils with? He compares the daffodils with stars. We can directly remember sometimes, because we have understood the poem, we have enjoyed the poem. If not, then we go to the line again, and what we see? Continuous as the star that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. Here is the answer, here lies the answer of this question. What does? The question is in simple present tense. The poet is third person singular, that's why V5 is used. The poet compares. C-O-M-P-A-R-E-S. We have to write correctly. The poet compares the daffodils with the stars. Okay, with the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. Full stop. Now, I think you feel it so easy to answer the question. If you felt a little difficult till now, you please learn this technique. but you have to read very carefully. You have to have a lot of vocabulary power so that you can understand the text and you can answer the questions very easily. Only take care of tense. Most of the things are here in the question. Only you have to answer to either who, where, what. What does the poet compare? The poet compares the daffodils with stars. In the sky directly also you can say, otherwise you can go to the line, you can just find out, if possible directly you can write, if not then by changing something you have to write. Now number D, for example, how many daffodils did the poet see at a glance? How many? 10,000. How many 10,000 written here very directly. Any student, if you go a little carefully, you don't have to leave the questions. English is so easy subject, if you do a little, you can pass it easily. So, 10,000 saw I at a glance. Directly you should not write here. You have to make a little change here because it is the line of the poem. When you write the answer in your what is called this now copy, at that time you have to make some changes. How many daffodils did the poet see at a glance? The poet saw 10,000 daffodils at a glance. Saw. How many daffodils did the poet? It is in simple past tense, that's why you have to take care of it. And the last question is here, why does the speaker dance with the daffodils? Why? The last, second last line, if we go, why the speaker dance with the daffodils? And then my heart with pleasure fills and dance with the daffodils. He dances with the daffodils because his heart is very much happy. Because the poet's heart fills with pleasure. With pleasure fills in the poem, but you have to write fills with pleasure because the poet's heart fills with pleasure. This is how you have to answer the questions. Answering question is not difficult task, because we have read a lot of texts, we have done exercise, we have done homework, so that we must have developed this technique. If not, then for normal students, I am trying to encourage, telling that English is not a difficult subject. You can do the exercises so easily, you can enjoy. Every text has something very much interesting. You can just go on this way. Now, we have one more exercise related to this poem. True, false. True, false. It's also very easy. If we have understood the poem, we don't have any problem to understand this or solve this question. Write true, the T for true statement and F for false statement. Sometimes in the exam also asked. Now, in order to understand the text, sometimes we have to look at this exercise as well. For example, number A, the speaker floats on high over vales and hills. The speaker floats on high over vales and hills. It is not the speaker, but the cloud, floats on high over vales and hills. But speaker, moves like a cloud. But this floating is cloud, not the speaker. That's why it is false statement. We have to write F in the box. In the exam also, if you just make a box and write, the person who is checking the copy will easily see this, and so that, there will not be any confusion. He will be happy with you and you will get the good marks. In the same way, look at question number B. Some of the question only I am going to tell. Golden daffodils are floating and dancing. Yes, we read in the poem, golden daffodils are floating and dancing. At that time I told the poet is personifying the daffodils, telling them they are floating and dancing. Number C, the daffodils are compared with shining stars. They are compared with shining stars. Yes, why not? They are compared with shining stars. I told, you can see in the poem. You please, this way, you just go ahead, solve these questions. And then, there may be other types of question also, but from the viewpoint of exam, this much questions are not asked for the poem. Only 5 marks, what is called this exercise come. Maybe 3 question answer. For 2 marks and synonym antonyms or true, false, any item may come. From the examination point of view, if you understand this well, there is no problem at all. But don't leave any question. Attempt all the question anyhow possible. For that, you please practice now. You have a lot of time. You can read other poems out of your text also, because it is joyful to read. Okay, now let me go to scene text 2. Before going to scene text 2, you please see this photo. We have the topic relevance of involving school graduates in community services. Here, some of the young people, like students, seem to be working with other people in the community. They are supposed to do something useful in the community. How much we are doing like this? How much we are involved in social activities? How much we are doing, the work in the community, in our community. We have to think ourselves. We have problem nowadays. In the modern time, what we have, we are inside the house. Now we are in lockdown, it is another matter. But when we have normal situation at the time, we have to go to society, we have to go to community, and we should try to learn something, from the people who are there in the community, how they discuss, how they solve the problem, how they cooperate to each other. By looking the people in the community, we are supposed to learn a lot of things, not only staying at home, watching television, looking at Facebook, mobile, chatting with that, and passing time. It is not productive activity. Sometimes we have to go to society and do the work, like as we saw on the photograph just now. And we have the lesson related to that. Now, relevance of involving school graduates in community services. How much relevant it is, whether it is necessary or not. Why? They are to be involved in community services. We are supposed to understand it. We are given this text, in our book, textbook. You must have read already. However, I am just trying to teach you how we can do different kind of exercises after reading a lesson. It is a very much, a good thing for us. It is a seen text. In the book, text are given. The same text is asked in the exam also. We are supposed to read again. We have already read it out so that we don't have any problem. You please, how to read it out, how to find out the what is called this answer for the different questions given in the text. Let's go ahead. How to do. Before starting explanation and other exercises, let me read out the poem. Sorry, read out this text. It is not poem. It is a part of essay. Let me just read it out. I have taken a part of essay given in our book. It is about relevance of involving school graduates in community services. Just let me read out. Socialization of teenagers is believed to be a difficult part in the modern society. On the one hand, modern technology like internet has virtually linked the whole world. On the other hand, it has created physical gap among people. Having considered the issue, in some countries, school students are provided with an opportunity to serve their community. In my opinion, sending school graduates to work in community services is a good idea to minimize the physical gap between the people as it equips them with valuable life skills. It is the first paragraph. Later on, I am going to explain them. Paragraph wise, I am going to make you understand. Let me go to second para. As we know, life skills are very important to a person as they develop social, interpersonal, intellectual and emotional skills. A person learns the way people communicate, negotiate and cooperate to solve common problems in their community. Therefore, if a person is sent to a community for services, he or she learns practical ways of dealing with social problems and their consequences. In addition, critical thinking and self-evaluation skill can also be developed. Furthermore, working in community helps people to develop good social skills. It is the second paragraph. Now, go to third paragraph. Nowadays, school graduates are spending their after school time watching television, playing video games, browsing the internet, chatting on Facebook, etc. The lack of productive activities might create social problems. Providing a young people with compulsory voluntary work as their after school program on the one hand engages teenagers and on the other hand minimizes the possibility of suffering from drug abuse. It also strengthens their social relationship. This is the passage given in our book. It is an essay given the I just left last two paragraphs. First three paragraphs I have brought here to teach you. Now I am going to just tell you how to read a text. For example, just now I read without any problem, very beginning, from very beginning we have to go with the first line, what is given there. What is it about? For example, just before in the poem, the speaker was speaking. For example, I wander lonely in the cloud, the speaker, the poet was speaking. Here, this person who wrote this essay is writing about relevance of involving school graduate in community services. He talks about socialization. Socialization of teenager. Now, the first few sentences, sorry, few words, give you idea what is the essay about. On the one hand, we have the topic. On the other hand, when you just read the first few words, few sentences, very easily we can know what is this text about. Socialization of teenager is believed to be a difficult part in the modern society. Yeah, if you read the first sentence, it gives you a lot of idea. It is about teenager. About socializing the teenager. It is quite difficult task in the modern time, the first sentence says. Now, let me go to some word meaning and then I will go to explain the paragraphs one after another. Some word meanings. For example, we have some words, may be difficult for some of you, may not be difficult for some of you, some of others. We have some words like socialization. We know it is the process of socializing, being in the society, doing something in the society, act of being social. Virtual. Nowadays, this word is very common, during this, what is called this, COVID-19, the word virtual, like the word, what is called this isolation, quarantine. The word virtual is also coming together with this. I think every student understands it. Virtual classes, classes on computer, classes on online. So, by that also, the experience that we get outside, that we have to relate with the text, relate with the word given here in the book, and we should understand. Here, virtual means simulated in a computer or online. Opportunity, everyone I think knows, that though it is easy word, I just copied here. Some of the students may find difficult, so that it is opportunity means it is a chance. Serve, serving, to work for. Yeah, we sometimes we serve the food. That is another context. But here serving means working in the society. Social service like. Graduate, the person completed any level of education. For example, SE graduate we say. For example, class 9 students, they pass, they are in a certain type of graduates. So, person completed any level of education, the education are known as graduate. Minimize in the same way, minimizing means reducing, trying to make it as small as possible. Emotional, emotional related to heart rather than brain, related to emotion rather than reason. Negotiate, making agreement by mutual understanding. Cooperate, working together, helping another, assisting, something like that. Consequences, these are the results or outcomes. Community, a group sharing common understanding in the society. Most of the cases they have same language, same tradition, like that. Browsing, for example, internet browsing, looking through to find out certain things with interest. Strengthen, make it stronger or to empower. Drug abuse, improper use, abuse is improper use or misuse of drug. Voluntary, it is the free service. Working without payment. We have some other words also there in the book. You please use your dictionary, try to find out the words. Most of the time we have to find the meaning of the words in the context. In the context. If we know most of the words, some of the words, if they are, even though they are difficult, we can find the meaning in context. It is not difficult for us, we can guess it. We have to make habit of guessing the word. Time and again, sometimes, if we are given unseen text at that time, we may not be able to go to find out the dictionary during the exam. That's why we have to make the habit of what is called finding the meaning in context. Some of the words we can find the meaning. Some others we know ourselves, we must have some words with ourselves, and some of the words we can guess and find out the meaning. Now, with this, after that, let me go to first paragraph. First paragraph of the text. First paragraph, just before I read. What is it about? It's about socialization. The first sentence says, socialization is difficult part in the modern society. Socialization of what is called young people is difficult part in the modern society, it says. And then further it says modern technology, internet, like internet, modern technology like internet links the whole world, it is good thing. We are linked with the whole world because of modern gadgets, because of modern what is called this media. We are linking with the whole world. This is good thing, but it has created problem with the what is called good thing. It has side effect like. What is the side effect? What is the problem? Physical gap among people. Okay, sometimes we are in the same house, the son plays with one mobile, another brother, means another sister plays with another mobile, they do not talk to each other, they are physically far. There is physical gap among the people because of what is called this modern technology. This is the problem. Then the writer is also quite worried about this physical gap among the people. And how can we minimize the physical gap then? The writer is thinking about it. And then he says that it is very good idea to send the student to community. Send the student to community to serve there for some times. They should have voluntary service, free service for some times after their what is called school life. If they do that, they will be good people. They will be cooperating to each other. They will learn different kind of life skills, he says. In the first paragraph, he talks about that. If you just see the paragraph, you will find these things. And the writer says, serving in the community equips the students, after their school life with valuable life skills. Rather than staying at home, watching television, playing with the mobile, playing with video games. If they go to society, what will they do? They will be able to, learn life skills that will be very much useful for their life. It is in the first paragraph of the scene text. Now, second paragraph, let me go the paragraph second. Yeah, in the second paragraph, if you read carefully, now time is also quite short. In the second paragraph, we have school graduates spend the afternoon time, after school time, watching TV. In the second paragraph, life skills. They learn life skill if they are sent to this community. And this life skill develop social, interpersonal, intellectual and emotional skills of the students. So, they will learn, they will develop different kind of skills like social, interpersonal, intellectual and emotional. And the students also learn when they are sent to community. What do they learn? How people communicate in the society, how they negotiate, how they cooperate to solve the common problem in their community. And another, they learn practical ways of dealing with social problems and consequences. The students also learn critical thinking and self-evaluation skills in the society, in the community if they are sent there. Let me go to third paragraph. Third paragraph. In the third paragraph, what is given there? It is the what is called this last paragraph I have brought here. School graduates, the school graduates after the school, what do they do? How do they pass the time? They spend their after school time watching TV, playing video games, browsing internet, chatting on Facebook, etc. This is how they pass the time. And these are not productive activities, so they create social problems. And in order to mitigate this social problem, in order to solve these social problems, now they are supposed to do some works in the community. The social problems are created due to lack of productive activities. And if they are sent to what is called this community, if they are sent to what is called this after school program, to do something in the society, what does it do? It has a lot of benefits, it has advantages. One advantage is it engages teenagers. If teenagers are engaged, they don't have what is called free mind, vacant mind. What the people say, what is called this, if they have nothing in their mind, a lot of bad activities, bad things move in their mind. So it engages the teenagers. And another, it minimizes social problems. And it also strengthens social relationship if they are sent to community to work. Okay. this is how we discuss this passage. We now understood perhaps, you please read it out, as I have given the poem and the points here, this will help you a lot in understanding, this is the way of reading the what is called any text given to us. We should not afraid, we just read it out so gently, so peacefully, so that we can know the meaning. And then I am supposed to go with the exercises. I think time is not helping me. However, before starting unseen passages in my next class, I will try to complete this question answer, how to answer the question of this what is called the seen text, as I have started now. In my next class, let me complete it, and then we will go to unseen text in the next class. I think I have one more class in this month. If it is extended, it is another matter. Otherwise, I have one more class. In that class, I am trying to what is called deal with the unseen text. Now we have dealt with seen text. For example, if you just read it out, you will try to answer the question. You will very easily answer the question given after this text. You please try it today. Look at other passages also, look at other books also, just read out the text and look at the question, try to answer the questions. It is for that idea I have been trying to teach you here. Okay, today time is going to finish. Let me stop my class here. I hope you are getting something out of my class. I am trying to give you idea rather than the content here. Anyone can read, anyone can find the answer, but how to read it out, how to begin, how to find out the point out of the lesson. You please be careful and read in this way and try to answer the questions very easily without being hopeless, without being nervous. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for technical support. Let me stop my class here. Thanks for this Butwal Sub-Metropolitan City also. Let's meet again. See you again. Thank you. Namaste.
जनताको स्वास्थ्य संवेदनशीलतालाई मध्यनजर गर्दै लकडाउन कार्यान्वयन सम्बन्धी बुटोल उपमह
सिद्धता कायम गरी कामको प्रकृति हेरी समय मिलाएर सबै दिन गर्ने तर कामदार श्रमिकहरूको परिचय खोलेको अभिलेख राखेको हुनुपर्ने।
कृषि औजार उपकरण तथा साधन र ढुवानी साधनको मर्मत सम्भार 5 जना भन्दा बढी मिस्त्री नरहने गरी प्रत्येक दिन बिहान 9 बजेदेखि 5 बजेसम्म सञ्चालन गर्न सकिने।
नदीजन्य पदार्थको ढुवानीका लागि प्रत्येक दिन बिहान 9 बजेदेखि बेलुका 6 बजेसम्म सञ्चालन गर्न सकिने।
बैंक, वित्तीय संस्था र सहकारी प्रत्येक आइतबार, मंगलबार र बिहीबार बिहान 10 बजेदेखि 1 बजेसम्म मात्र खुल्ला गर्न सकिने।
आफू, आफ्नो परिवार र समाजलाई सुरक्षित गर्न लकडाउनको पालना र सामाजिक दूरी कायम गर्ने।
अनुरोधक बुटोल उपमहानगरपालिकाको कार्यालय बुटोल।
Good morning, everyone. I am coming again to teach English. It is the third class I am going to take today. I am Kulananda Pandey. I am teaching here on behalf of Butwal Sub-Metropolitan City. Today, I am going to complete the earlier text, scene text 1. I began, but I was unable to complete it. Today I am going to complete this text, and I am going to teach another scene text. I am supposed to complete these two texts today. At the beginning of my class, let us see some video clips related to this poem, I Wander Lonely as a Cloud by William Wordsworth. Let us see that, and after that I will go to explain the poem, what was remaining